Well, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 3rd in the year 2026, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. Well, we are now 3 months into the new year, and if you thought that things would slow down, level out, there'd be less name calling, hate speech, and other crazy stuff going on, nope, you're in the wrong place. So let's hang on to the word hope. Remember that word hope? Obama used it when he ran for president. Hope that things could be better. Hope that things would move in a different direction. Hope that we don't continue on this path that we're on. Let's see, we bombed Venezuela, we bombed Iran, we pretty much bombed Minnesota. So I was reading a quote by President Obama the other day, and he says the people he meets as he travels through the country, quote, still believe in decency and kindness despite so many vulgar or racist comments and actions getting attention. He said there's this sort of clown show that's happening in social media and on television, and what is true is that there doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you have to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety and respect that gives you that word hope. We certainly hope that things will get back to some type of normalcy, whatever normalcy is. We don't even know what normal is anymore, but hopefully things will get back. Hopefully, there's that word again, we'll get back to that at some point. Our G-list guests today are the Demings, Chikodi and Sterfon Demings. We look forward to having them on the show. Chikodi's World, we're going to talk about Chikodi's World. It's a universe of its own, and and some of the information they sent, I love this. It said, where in the world is Chikodi's World, and what in the world is it? So we'll go through today, and we'll find out. You'll find out. We already know, at least I do. So let's see. Chikodi is a master cosmetologist who turned natural hairstylist almost 3 decades ago. And I don't want to spoil it by telling you about it now, but we'll do it here shortly. Sterfon Demings is a exceptional, innovative, and versatile hair designer that I've worked with on several occasions. They're both good friends, and we look forward to having those conversations. Let's see, where are we? Our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl. So let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Hey, let me say one thing. You can pretty much, we have the chat here, and you can come on the chat and you can make comments, make your statements, give your opinion, so on and so forth, but you can't use the F word. And Willard, Jason, we don't do the F word on this show. So you're in the wrong place with that. Thank you. So let's go to the round table, and we will hear what Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker have got to say for us this morning. Good morning, Barbara Wallace Edwards.
Good morning.
Michael Walker, how you guys doing this morning?
Doing well. Hope you're doing well as also. How about that?
I am. I had to do a little cleanup this morning, but that's the way stuff goes.
Yes.
Let's see. What's happening in your world, Barbara?
Well, Tom, I got a chance to go over to Atlanta this past weekend. I was not feeling well last week. Had this sinus allergy stuff going on. I thought maybe if I get out of Birmingham and get a change of scenery, I'd start to feel better, and I did. I mean, I got over to Atlanta and immediately started feeling better. So I don't know if I'm allergic to home or Birmingham or what, but I came back yesterday and I'm still feeling good. So keeping my fingers crossed and praying really hard that I'll continue to feel good. I got a chance to go to the movies while I was there. Something I don't do very often, but I saw a new Holly Berry movie, Crime 101, and I highly recommend that. She's starring in that film alongside Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo. Um, Really good movie. So something I definitely recommend you all try to
I've
check
seen
out.
that. I've seen
Okay.
that. And
Yeah.
it's interesting, and Sterfon will get a kick out of this because I didn't know what the 101 stood for, but it's the 101 freeway in Los Angeles.
Right.
It's
Yes.
like, okay, but it was a really good movie.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I'm a movie buff,
Yeah.
and so it was a good movie.
Good.
Michael, just let me say good morning to Raymond Crump, to Antley, Yolanda, Darnell, and everybody else who's joining us this morning. We appreciate you guys being with us. Michael, what's happening in your world, brother? You were out last week. Tell us about it.
Well, I was in D.C. last week for a Capitol conference where our association go up and talk to our elected officials about health care and the things that are going on in that. Primarily this time, we're talking about the ACA expiring subsidies that's thrown healthcare into chaos. It was interesting being up there because of the State of the Union and how they had everything closed down. We the hotel that I stayed in, you could just look out my window and see the Capitol, but you couldn't get a taxi or Uber or anything within 3 hours before the State of the Union. They
Wow.
just
Shut
vanished.
everything down.
Yeah, everything was shut down. And, it's so ironic being there and listening to the State of the Union. And then, less than a week later, we're in war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the president ran on no more foreign wars and what have you.
Right.
And I don't have all of the intel and what have you. I don't know all that, so I really can't make a intelligent discussion one way or the other. But some of the
But
things I
they're
can
not
say,
making intelligent discussion, so just join right in with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll fit right in if it's not intelligent, Michael. So go right ahead.
Go ahead.
now, what I will say is that if something like this was going to happen, I have a couple concerns. One is that when you go and remove a leader of a regime, then that creates a leadership vacuum, and then that just creates further chaos.
Mhm.
And for the president to have told the citizens of Iran, get ready to go in the streets and fight, well, they have nothing to fight with.
Right.
Okay, the people that serve the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, they still have all the weapons. So how is Trump telling these people to go in and take back their country and do all this? Is the U.S. going to go in and supply them with the necessary weapons and manpower to do that? I just don't know. So, sometimes when you go into something like that, if you don't have a clear strategy, it can be problematic. And I was reading about three WNBA players that played at the University of South Carolina that was playing over there, and they're trapped. And
Right.
South Carolina is trying to get them out, not
Yeah.
west. And I would hope that as president and commander in chief, you think about all the citizens, the patriots that are overseas in the areas that you're bombing, and try at least get them out first or something.
You would think, Michael, and that's the problem. He's not thinking through these erratic decisions he's making. He just does stuff, and there are so many Americans that are trapped overseas right now. The country of Dubai, even people are trapped there because the country just closed the airstrips down, the airports down. So there's Americans that are stuck there in hotels that were on vacation. And the Dubai government has stepped in and saying they will cover their expenses for their extended hotel stays and their meals, whereas the U.S., who started this, hasn't reached out to them at all to try to assist in, getting them home or making sure that they're safe and comfortable while they're there.
Let me go back to Michael's statement. What'd you say he said about going into the streets over there and do?
He has made comments about the people in Iran going in and taking over their government, after this happens, So in other words, he's opening the door for them to go in and I guess do what America did a long time ago, or what they tried to do back in when he lost to the presidential race,
Right.
where they,
The insurrection.
went to the Capitol and tried to take back the government. I guess that's what he's encouraging. I'm just wondering how he's going to do that.
He didn't encourage the people in Minnesota at all.
Right.
Go and take back their damn government.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Who's up next? I think what we have to remember is don't try to make sense of it. Just repeat what they're saying.
It won't make any sense.
No.
But and something that came out of this is, I don't know how it's legal, but some people made money betting on the exact date that the U.S. would bomb Iran. They placing their wages hours before the first missiles hit Tehran, on a platform where Donald Trump Jr. sits on the advisory board. Now, tell me how that is illegal. It's legal because he had to have inside information. I didn't even know there was such a thing that you could actually bet on the date that the U.S. was, bomb a particular country. But undoubtedly, there's all kinds of things that they can bet on. But there are people who actually made tons of money. They say 6 freshly created poly market accounts raked in roughly $1 million in profit by betting the U.S. would strike Iran by February 28th, the precise date that Trump launched his bombing campaign. Most of these wallets were funded within 24 hours of the attack and purchased shares for about a dime a piece, just hours before the explosions lit up Tehran. That has to be illegal.
I'm not surprised that he did it. I'm not surprised that it's illegal. Most of the stuff they've been doing has been illegal.
Yeah.
Plus, the most important thing about it to him, it got him to stop talking about Epstein.
That's
they
true.
Had gotten really close. Once they disposed the Clinton or deposed
Clinton's
he was next.
Yeah.
On the list. And so
he and Melania.
Oh yeah, she's heading up something. But
she's the UN Council. Yeah, she's heading up the UN Council.
Yes, isn't she an immigrant?
Yeah,
I thought so. I just was curious. Since we're running all these immigrants out the country, I was just wondering.
The president and the vice president are married to immigrants.
Well, the other thing I was about to say this, Barbara, and you hit on that. I'm trying to do a little research on how this war is impacting the stock market and what stocks are taking up, rising right now as a result of this war. And that's where your insider trading would come in.
Right.
Okay. Because if you got people, especially people in Congress or whatever, that are loading up on defense stocks, there you go. Okay.
Yes.
And they're saying, I just heard this morning that gasoline prices could be 40 to 50% higher by Memorial Day.
Yes.
Okay. So now what is that going to do about the economy? Okay. Because certain now stocks are dipping, certain stocks, but I would think that your technology stocks may do well, especially ones that the Pentagon is trying to get to utilize their platform for war.
Right.
Okay. And so it's a lot of stuff that's going on here that's not clear,
It's clear to some.
Not clear. There's a lot that's going on that reminds us of weapons of mass destruction. We remember that, right? That we're still looking for them now. I'm pretty sure they're still over there looking for them because they guaranteed that they were there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, you brought up something else too, and I do not disagree with you whatsoever that this is a distraction from the Epstein files. It's interesting that I read recently a former Russian senator who had appeared in the Epstein files and called Ghislaine Maxwell a friend was found dead in Moscow over the weekend. And it was funny. He was 67 years old, which is relatively young nowadays. But supposedly he was found dead with a gun next to him, labeled a suicide. I always meet that with a little bit of suspicion when a person is deemed to have committed homicide and there's a gun found lying next to them. That's the key word, next to them.
Next to them, right.
I would think that if you shot yourself, you may would still have a gun in your
hand.
Yeah,
right.
But to say that it was a gun found next to him, that's kind of, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Some of the suicides are questionable. There's no doubt.
Most of them that are related to the folks regarding Epstein are questionable.
Definitely.
Yeah. This Epstein file is really reaching out for people and stuff and taking people under.
Once the Clintons testified, then there was only one other place to go, and that was to Donnie.
Right.
And so Donnie created a distraction. And we'll see what's next.
A lot of innocent lives are lost as a result of his distractions.
Yes.
To bomb a school, innocent children, that is just that's the lowest of lows. I just so many innocent lives are lost.
Whatever happened to the days back when if we wanted to take out somebody, we did it with a lot more finesse. They didn't know we were coming. Now, granted, they can say they didn't know we were coming, but we didn't leave a lot of destruction. The person that was a target was gone.
Exactly.
Osama bin Laden is an example.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. When Obama went to get Osama bin Laden, they didn't blow up everybody else around. They went in and got him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And his captains and was out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think we lost any American soldiers in taking out Obama.
Some of bin Laden. No, I think you're right, Michael.
Yeah. But we've lost 6 servicemen here, and and that's no boots on the ground. So what's happening here?
And he pretty much said there are going to be more.
Yeah. Casually made that statement.
And that's the problem I have. You're not talking, your sons are not going over there.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
But you're talking about people. Yeah.
And I remember suckers and losers. You remember that? When he called the people who went to service suckers and losers?
Right.
And now he's ordering those suckers and losers to go put their lives on the line.
Without Congress's approval. That's the other thing too. He doesn't. There's no
credit. This is about getting credit. And, he has to get credit. He really despises President Obama.
Yes.
And whatever he can do that, quote, in his mind outshines Obama, then he'll do it.
But the sad thing, he's really not outshining him. In his mind, maybe, but he's really making himself look stupid, is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Well, that may be to you, but in his own mind, he's a legend. Right. Okay. That's just like people talking about who back in the day were a legend in their own mind.
In their own mind.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about here. Speaking of this, this is something. This is something that I really do not understand, and I'm trying to get with it, and it's very disappointing, is that I keep reading about these people that are African American that are running for governor and what have you, and they are Republicans, but they are MAGA Republicans. How do you be a MAGA Republican as an African American? I just do not understand that. And there's a gentleman in Michigan by the name of John James.
Tom got it right. That's it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay.
It has to be.
You can get some money, man. It's all about the money.
Well, this guy in Michigan is running for governor. And there's an article that came out. He's African American, running for governor, and has 0 votes from the African American community.
Of
Gee.
course. If he's
And-
mega Republican, he won't have any votes from the African American community.
And the thing, and it's so interesting that, you know, he's running against 2 other Caucasian people, and they're all voting for them and not voting for him, you know. And
Wow.
it's really, really kind of sad, because we all know historically African American families have been the most conservative families there have
Right.
been. And we
Right.
had to be given the situations we were faced with, right?
Right.
Okay. And a lot of the values that a lot of the Republicans talk about, you know, church and all this other stuff, were values that African American used just to survive,
Right.
in other words. And now we have these modern day African American Republicans that consider themselves to be MAGA. And I got a problem with that. And we talked on this show, Make America Great Again means different to different people.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And that interpretation depends on who you are in that ecosystem.
Yes.
Very
And
much.
there are some policies that I would never call myself a MAGA Republican. I am not.
Thank
Well,
you,
I like-
Michael.
Go ahead.
Like last week, he Fat Donnie talked about his relationships with black folks, and he talked about his 2 good friends, Herschel Walker and Mike Tyson. That showed that he had black folks that liked him. It's like, okay. And Herschel, and he said, I think Herschel Walker's an ambassador or something down there. Well, he had to appoint him, didn't he?
Yeah, right.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's all.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to laugh, Tom, because
Yeah,
it's,
you
it's
do.
sad.
Well, you know, this is what is really, really funny about this. And, you know, my buddy Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, they all saw this, including Clarence Carter. You know, Trump declined to invite Wes Moore, the only sitting black governor in the United States and vice chair of the American Governors Association. He
Right.
refused to invite him to the White House for the dinner, but yet and still, near the end of Black History Month, he celebrated Black history, and he picked a few select African Americans to come, and they got up and gave testimony about how he wasn't racist and what have you.
Mm. Okay.
Do you not realize you're being used?
Yes. Right. Right.
You
But
know,
people, money. A lot of people do most anything for some money, man.
You're right. You're right, Tom.
I
that's a
don't know.
shame.
Sell it. That's called selling your souls. That's what that's called.
Yeah, I guess so. It's funny how certain people in our ethnicity do not understand or see when they are being used for a more sinister purpose,
Yeah.
in other
So-
words.
Yesterday, I had to get on the phone with this guy up in Birmingham, actually, and for some stuff I've got to do. And he was going through this list of questions: my birthday, where I live, all that stuff. And he said, "What race do you identify with?" I said, "Human." And
Yeah, I love it.
it was quiet. It was just
Uh-huh.
quiet.
Mhm.
And he said, "Well, are you going to answer?" I said, "I just did."
Right.
You know, he said, "Well, what race do you identify with?" I said, "Human." Okay. He left it alone. I would hope that we all
Yeah.
identify with the human
It's
race.
human race.
Woo!
Hey, the world in which we live.
Yes.
What we going to do about the Auburn basketball team? That internal national search didn't turn out too well right about
Not at
now.
all. Not looking good at all.
Oh man. Well,
there's-
I always pull for the boys and girls, I should say.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be like Trump and say, "Well, they can come along too." I don't know, man. I don't know. I hadn't followed it that closely. I watched a little bit of the NBA this week. I don't. I watch pro football when they get to the second round of the playoffs. I watch the NBA when they get to the second round of the playoffs, and the same way with the Final Four deal. Get that first round of people out the way because generally that's uneven. And those are blowouts, and so I don't know. Hopefully they'll do well. I always pull for the guys and the kids and the guys and the young ladies. So I don't know. I don't know. Are they not doing well? I haven't
Not at
kept up.
all.
Well,
They
with
lost by what, 20 something points, or maybe 15 points on the game on Saturday.
I don't know if it was that much. I think it's
Okay.
closer than that. But the
Okay.
problem was they were favored by 10, and they basically blew out Ole Miss down in Oxford earlier in the year. And so playing in the jungle, they have a reputation for winning there. And they were favored by 10, and they lost, I think, by 7 or 8 points.
Okay.
And it's some of the things that, Tom, we talked about earlier is that, when you don't have a lot of talent and you don't have a lot of size, you have to play damn near perfect basketball. In other words, you can't beat yourself in order to be competitive. And this year, Auburn does not have any size, and we don't have a lot of talent. But the thing that bothers me the most is how undisciplined we seem to play, you know. And I've mentioned one time that I saw the point guard go down, and not in this game, but a game a couple of weeks before, and he was on a fast break 1-on-4 by his damn self,
Wow.
And I'm like, come on, you can't do that. Now,
Can't
what I
win
did
like that.
see in the game on Saturday, the point guard had the ball at the point. He was going to throw it over to the wing. But one of the things you always taught, if you throwing the ball to a taller person, you don't put it down on the floor. Okay, you put it up so that they can get it. And he, got out there and danced between his legs and did everything and just whipped a pass over there to the wing, but it was down at his feet. So the guy had problems getting down there to get it, and it turned into a turnover. And it's little things like that that I see in the game that I think causes some problems.
Well, hopefully they'll get it corrected. You can't. I mean, even at the level of the NBA, I was watching a little bit of Denver play. Man, they just turning the ball over and turning the ball over. You can't win like that. I don't care how good you are. Right. And I don't care who you got on your team. You keep turning it over and making mistakes, you're going to lose. Period.
It's funny you bring that up. I think part of it has to do with the relaxing of rules and enforcement in the NBA game. Tom, when we came up, when you dribble the ball, we had to dribble the ball with our hands on top of the ball, fingertip control, like this. Now they doing this. They walking down the court doing this. Yeah. Okay? If we did that, it was carrying the ball. It was a turnover. That's and right. So now you see it in the NBA game, the college game, they're just doing this. So the more and more you let people get away with breaking the rules, the sloppier the game becomes.
Going to be. Yes.
Well, and I was watching Minnesota, I guess Minnesota and Denver, and what's Ant's name? He's a big star for Minnesota. And that dude was traveling like it. Every time he shot a jump shot, he traveled. He took 3 steps before he would shoot it. And it's like, well, when are they going to call this? So anyway, let's move on. We got to get to the G list, and so Sean's waiting on us. She wants to do Sean's going to do the Got a Minute segment. So Sean, come on in and do Got a Minute, please. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute. I hope y'all can see me, and I hope this week you can hear me. Well, good, because I'm coming to you live in full effect, and here is the truth. Everyone talks about chasing more money, more exposure, more opportunities. But here's what people don't say enough, that stability is strategy. There's nothing small about wanting a consistent income. There's nothing small about being ambitious. There's nothing small about planning or planning ahead. There's nothing boring about protecting your peace. Sometimes the smartest move is expansion, and sometimes it's just positioning, building cushion, strengthening your skills, securing leverage before you leap. Preparation isn't fear, it is indeed foresight. You don't want or wait to have pressure to move on you. You move before the pressure arrives. And that's nothing small. That's playing the long game. And that's it. That's your minute. And before I go out and have a great day. And if you don't want to, then don't you go ruin nobody else's. They can ruin it for themselves. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
I like that. All right, let's go to our G list. Hollywood's got the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Tom, we have the G list, and our G list guests today are Sterfon and Chikodi Demings. So we're going to start off with Miss Chikodi. Good morning, Chikodi and Sterfon, and now I'll get back to that. How you guys doing this morning? Okay, I can't hear anybody. Can you guys hear me? Oh, they can't hear me. Michael, you and Barbara hear me, right?
Yes, we hear you.
Fine.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Sterfon, you hear me now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sterfon, can you hear us? Guess not.
Okay. Sean, can you help out here? I don't know what's going on. Okay, they should be back here shortly. I'll just read a little bit. Chikodi's world is, I love this, a universe of its own. And she says, where in the world is Chikodi's world and what in the world is it? And then she goes to explain it. It's a unique boutique find that consists of several facets to its brand. The boutique is located in Mulberry Street in Montgomery, Alabama, in a quaint cottage. Once you go there, and I've been there, once you go there, you'll always want to go back. It is very, very interesting. They've done an incredible job. And as it says here, from the moment you step into Chikodi's world, you will never want to leave. You will find an extensive array of luxurious Afrocentric clothing and jewelry, and the quality is truly impeccable. There's a large variety of hand-tailored clothing, jewelry created and commissioned from Africa and India. Chikodi Demings is the designer, and most of the commissioned goods from overseas, where she interacts directly with the artisans. So I'm trying to see if we're coming back in here. I think we are. Can you hear me, guys? Sterfon, can you hear me?
Can't hear anybody.
I heard you say something then.
Yeah, we can hear him. They can't hear us.
Okay, we hear you. All right, Sean's taking them out again. So, Michael, did you have a good time up there in DC? Did you accomplish your goals?
Well, I accomplished some of the goals. Some of the goals I cannot talk about due to confidentiality, but I will say that we're moving the association forward. There's a lot of hope, there's your word, and optimism. We've gone through some turbulent times now, and we're doing a leadership transition. And part of that transition includes me becoming president in July. So we'll see how that turns out, but that's where we're moving. I see them back now. Let's see if they can pick up.
Yeah, I want to come back to that.
Morning.
There you go.
Morning.
All right, good morning. Let's start with Chikodi. Chikodi, tell us about Chikodi's world. And you're in the world right now, aren't you? I see the material stuff behind you. You and Sterfon both.
Yes.
Give us a little indication of Chikodi's work.
Okay, so I am Chikodi of Chikodi's World, located here in Montgomery, Alabama. So my shop and my boutique is all about Afrocentric and female wears. Majority of all the items are straight from Africa, from different. I have 5 different countries that I do business with. Some of the ladies. The good thing about it is I am providing a job for all these women that create my stuff here for me, and in turn they get to provide me with the materials that I need to share with the folks here. So that's the really good thing about it. So everybody is like a give and take. So yeah, so if you're a female and you are in Montgomery, Alabama, or Alabama in general, we have everything that you need for your fashionable wears. Anything to including clothing, jewelries, bags, everything is all handmade. I also make handmade jewelry myself, but I'm more specialized in gemstone jewelry. So you also see some of my gemstone jewelry displayed here in the shop. We also do shipping, so you can shop with us online. I have an online store. I am on Etsy. You can definitely do all your shopping, and we will ship direct to you wherever you are in the continental USA.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that, but I'm going to go to Barbara here. Barbara, you got a question?
I do. Chikodi, good morning to you and Sterfon. Thank you for joining us. Now tell us how did you get started, and when did you create Chikodi's World?
Oh my gosh! So Chikodi's World was created in the 90s. I started when I was a hairstylist. I'm still a hairstylist. I'm a natural hairstylist. So I usually, whenever I come in the shop, folks would kind of like what I have on, and they, ask me where I get it from. So I was like, you know what? How about I start bringing some of this stuff in the shop?
Right.
And that is literally what prompted me to, like, you know what? I can actually sell to ladies because I already got them in my chair. So just bring the stuff and showcase to them. And so that started over 20 something years ago.
Wow.
But when we moved down here to Montgomery, Alabama, we opened up, the boutique. So my boutique also has my salon studio in there. So I'm servicing females every day while I'm here, and in turn have my shop, so I can be able to, do both of them back and forth.
Wow, that's
Sounds great.
It does.
So let me go to Mr. Deming, and then I'll come back for some questions. Mr. Deming here. And how are you this morning? Let's just put a little history on this. I've been knowing this guy, man, how long? It's about at least 30 years or so. We work and we have a lot of In the Heat of the Night people on this show, Sterfon. So Sterfon did the hair on In the Heat of the Night, whatever. We hung out we had a lot of fun. We worked on In the Heat of the Night. We worked on what was that crazy show we worked on?
City of Angels.
City of Angels. We don't have enough time to tell you all about that. But and so Sterfon is now in Montgomery. So Sterfon, tell us about where you are right now and what you're doing.
Well, we relocated here in 2017. Came back to look after my folks, and happily my wife was willing to join me. So been here and was traveling back and forth between here and Los Angeles and wherever for work. But now I am semi-retired and looking at other ventures now.
Good deal. Barbara, you got a question?
I do. Sterfon, you are a world-renowned hairstylist, and when did you get started? How did you get started in the field of hair design and hairstyling?
Actually, I started in high school. I went to vocational school in high school, and it was a win-win for me because I was out of school half a day and in a classroom full of girls. So,
smart young man.
At 15.
You notice how fast he said it.
Yeah.
And I looked first, so.
Yeah, and make sure it was okay to say that.
Always gotta look first. But yeah,
go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that it had the potential that it did. And everybody said I always talked about it, that I was going to do Hair for the Stars and do this and do that. I don't really remember it, but they say I always talked about it. So I left here in the 80s, went to New York first, did an apprenticeship, worked in a salon there. Then I moved to Los Angeles, worked for that same salon there, which had celebrities coming in and out. And just one thing led to another. I actually met the actress Jackie on a morning talk show, connected with her, and she took me with her. So
Wow, that's great.
And you've done for people I know you've done hair for Alfred Woodard and Halle Berry and a bunch of different stars out there. You know, and I think we all understand or have to understand that stars are regular people too.
They are.
they they want their stuff taken care of just like everybody else.
Right.
So, Michael, you got a question?
I do. Good morning, both to Sterfon and Chikodi. Thank you guys for being with us. Chikodi, I wanted to ask you a question. A lot of your products that you sell are directly from Africa, I heard you say. Can you tell me how the president's tariffs have impacted you, and have they impacted you and your business from that standpoint?
It definitely has impacted, especially with the shipping cost. It's one thing you have something made; it's got to be shipped here. So we deal with either through DHL, FedEx, or by cargo. So yeah, the price definitely have shoot up, which cuts into the profit. And even though I'm working with some of the all the ladies and the guys that make the outfit, they're also prices have gone up for them. Materials have gone up, even down to the threading that we use to make everything have shot up. The most thing is definitely the shipping, bringing everything from Africa to here. Before we used to just it would be you pay a lot of money to get it here, but at the same time when it comes that's it. But now I think starting January we have to pay an additional custom fee once it gets here before you get your merchandise. So it's like, okay, if you don't pay the custom fee, you get this big old boat letter that says it will be shipped back to where it came from in the next 5 days. So it's like, after you pay all this money, you don't want to, so you don't have no choice but to end up paying the additional fee. So yeah, it definitely have impacted business, but we're still pushing through them and just have to, deal with it.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that, not so much for you financially, but to clear up some of the confusion, because the president says putting the tariffs in place causes the other countries to pay for it. But what I'm hearing is that it's the US countries that are paying the tariffs. So his thing about making all this money from tariffs, you basically taking it from your own people. Am I right?
Yeah, well, it's dipping in from everywhere. DHL have to worry about it because they shoot up on their prices, and then they push it down to those of us who's shipping. Yeah, so it's both ways. Everybody is feeling it. That country and we, the merchants. We're both feeling it. So however it's going, I don't have a clue how the whole system is set up, but I know that we are feeling it, and it is not really good for business.
I got a question. Sterfon, you from Montgomery and Chikodi. So what's it like? And of course, I guess I've done the same thing, but I'm gonna ask you guys, what's it like to go from Los Angeles to Montgomery? And I know Sterfon, that's home for you. So and I've been to your shop and I see how you guys have made it work. So if and we know some other April Cheney, who left Los Angeles and went back to Birmingham and who's doing very well. What has that transition been like?
It was an adjustment in a way, but the plus side is that we're able to again bring goods and products here that they normally wouldn't get in this city. They might have to travel to Atlanta, New York, again, some larger city. So it's actually, it's been a kind of a hidden jewel for here, because the more people find out about it, like, wow, we didn't know you were here. Yeah, we tucked away right here on Mulberry Street, 2000 Mulberry Street, Montgomery, Alabama, in the Cottage District. And it was cool to get here because it's a lot of small businesses in this area. So it's kind of like a community within itself, and it's been great. It was a little adjustment, and again, it's home for me, but she seems to have become acclimated, and
Yes, it's definitely at first it was like, oh my goodness, little Montgomery, all the way from Los Angeles. And yeah, at first it was like, oh my gosh, the entertainment, stuff to do here because we're just a little small place. But the more I get used to it, I'm like, okay, there's an airport, there's jobs, the living is good. So I kind of consider those things like if I need to go to LA, it's easy. I can get on a plane. My son and grandkids are in Los Angeles, so I'll have to definitely go and see them. So the adjustment was okay. I actually realized that first I was like, I'm a big city girl. Then as time goes on, as I live here, I'm like, oh, I'm actually a small country girl that just enjoyed good city life. So it has become pretty good. It's livable, and I love the fact that we are situated where we can travel. Montgomery is so
Yes.
easy compared to Los Angeles.
Yes.
Atlanta here, Louisiana is here, Florida. It's like we can actually drive to places. So the adjustment is great, and I love the fact that I am here with this business, sharing, what I have with the people here because a lot of them, again, like Stefan said, they're like, oh wow, I can't believe all of this stuff is here because I have different items from, again, 5 different continents. So it's amazing.
You guys, I know we talked last week about photos. You have any photos of any of the material that you have in the shop, or am I getting ahead of myself?
actually, we submitted them to the studio.
Oh, okay.
Pulled them
Sean?
up, but,
I guess I'll let Sean. Do you have that, Sean? She just sent us a note.
But the other thing too, the plus here is the cost of living, and it's not the kind of traffic in LA.
Oh,
Yes.
Pretty much, we could be from one side of town to the other in 15 to 20 minutes, and
Right.
you can't even get in your car in LA in 15 to 20 minutes. So it's been great, and I wanted to have a slower pace for our son,
Right.
instead of the rough city streets of Los Angeles. So, and he's closer to family. His cousins are here; they get a chance to see each other all the time. So it's been good.
It's interesting. You talk about the contrast, and of course, I was out there in Los Angeles. You and I hung out a lot together, and now I live in a little small town. And man, I find myself, I'm driving. I drive 30 miles an hour. People are behind me. They're trying to get in front of me. Stuff. It's like, what's wrong with these people? So I've gotten used to the slower pace, and I think I like the slower pace. I like the slower pace a lot. So, Michael, you got more questions?
I do. I would like to ask both Chikodi and Stefan. I notice your attire, and I want to ask you: is this part of the clothes that you bring in from Africa? Are these African clothes that you're wearing today and colors?
yes, Michael, they are. They are some of the items that I do sell here. You come in here, you're gonna be able to buy some of these beautiful blouses, and of course, yeah, Stefan's his was specially made, specially tailored to him. Yeah, so we definitely have items like this. That's why we kind of put it on. And then if you see behind me, we have some of the items that we do have here also. And the majority of all of this stuff are from Mali. We have some of them from Ghana, some of them from Nigeria, and just different types of items that you can find. Mainly a lot of female clothing though. No children stuff, but a lot of female clothing.
Barbara?
It's interesting that you said it was tailor-made for Sterfon, and I was wondering because a lot of times when we buy clothes and they're made in Taiwan or somewhere like that, and their extra large is like a medium or a small to us. So
Right.
I want how do you do the measurements for Sterfon? Are they made over in Africa or do you make them here?
No, they're made in Africa, so definitely get the measurement and just send it in. And we are grateful for the WhatsApp that we get to. That's how I usually communicate with a lot of my merchants. All we have to do is send in the measurement, and they get it made just like that.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so in other words, you measure him and then send it rather than Taiwan estimate what an extra large is in America and send it over.
Exactly. No estimation. It's accurate measurement, so that they can get it tailored to your and I know what you mean, because some of the folks when they come in here, when they're looking for something, they get all disappointed, like, oh my God, I just ordered this stuff from, but it's either too big or it's definitely way too small.
Right.
Yeah, no sheen and teething here.
That's good.
This shirt would be a halter top if I had it. You definitely don't want to see that.
Who's up, Barbara?
Yeah, Stefan, I was going to ask you about some of the celebrities that you've styled and, doing their hair. When they come in to see you, I know, of course, when you're on movie set, you have a script, you have to, you're basically styling them based on the script. But when they come to see you as just a personal visit, do they basically sit in your chair and say, do what you want? Or are they giving you strict instructions or, I want my hair like this, or showing you pictures? Talk about that experience.
Some we have the comfortability that they just give me freedom, and I, of course, prefer. And but you have some that are very specific in what they would want, and that's fine. It's the same way as a regular client.
Right.
Some of them come in with the picture, and that's what they want, and it's
Right.
but you can't get that.
Right. It will take a miracle.
Right. This is some scissors, not a magic wand. I love one that just comes to mind was Dr. Mae Jemison before she went to space.
Right.
And she was like, I don't care, just do what you want to do. I was like, really?
I bet those are the best clients.
Absolutely. And that's how we ended up with her iconic angular haircut.
Yes.
You
created that. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a spaceship that's going into space.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, it was like, okay, what's going to fit under the helmet? And so it's
right.
Like, take it all off to the small fro, and yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Sterfon, I think Choo Choo is a friend of yours. She's on here. I just wanted to say hello to her.
I think I got a few family.
And just go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said I think I got a few family and friends.
Yeah, you do. Lisa Thompson, Yolanda Tolson.
Cousins.
Okay. Raymond Crump is an old friend of mine from Auburn. I shouldn't say old friend of mine, but I've been knowing him since a long time. He was a track star at Auburn. Okay. Laurie Lukes is is in the heat of the night person. Antley is in the heat of the night person, and of course, yeah. One thing, they mentioned working with the stars. Sterfon has worked with Sean Penn in the movie Milk, Halle Berry in Monsters Ball, and Alfre Woodard, his good friend and my friend. We worked with Alfre on Miss Evers Boys, and boy, we had a lot of fun. I tell you what, Alfre could tell better jokes than the guys. We were standing around telling jokes, and then Alfre started telling jokes. We started telling ours and was laughing at hers. So we just had a great time. Donald Sutherland, I always remember what you told me about Donald Sutherland. that he had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to get his hair and stuff done. And you said he was always on time. And that made me start being always on time. You know?
Oh, he made me respect time because I kind of was okay with time, but it was his professionalism and the level of star that he was and the respect that I had for him. Again, at his age, if he could be there an hour before things started, be in place and look at it. If it says I'm supposed to start at 8 o'clock, he wanted to be started at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
So I had to step my game up, and I didn't mind it. And then we ended up actually having a close little bond and hanging out and walking through the streets of Venice. I'm like, I'm kicking it with Donald Sutherland. Yeah, he ended up, we went to, they opened up a hotel, supposedly one of the most expensive hotels. They had because it was closed for the season, had the chef come in and prepare a meal for us. I'm like, this ain't bad. Yeah, but I have been able to form some good friendships and bonds through the business and learning from people.
That's
So in
great.
other words, so what you're saying is Sutherland didn't know about CP time.
And he wasn't having it. So I had to go to them time. When you said you were okay with time, I knew you were talking about color people time. So Sutherland wasn't used to that. You wasn't able to switch him over to and indoctrinate him into color people time. It about me 8:20, 8:34, somewhere. He wasn't playing.
We had so much fun. And
I'll be serious. Let me ask you this question, Sterfon. I noticed that you have the experience and the ability to style all types of hair from different ethnicities. So will you tell me how difficult was it to become acclimated from going to doing Afrocentric style hair to maybe working on somebody like Sutherland? And was there a learning curve?
Actually, it was a choice. The learning curve happened in beauty school because I would push myself to do things other people wouldn't do, or were afraid to do. Uh, if I messed it up, I just messed it up. But that's how you learn. You know what I mean? What they say the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks.
That's right.
So
Right.
when it came to razor cutting and stuff like that, which I was totally afraid of, just to be on somebody's head with a razor and trying to make a shape come out of that, But again, that went back to being 15 years old, 15, 16 in vocational school and just trying it, just going for it and having this little French teacher that pushed me. She wouldn't let me make excuses. So I learned early on, and then in the salon I worked with in New York, the gentleman there that I worked for, John Atchison, he was the first black manager Vidal Sassoon had in the United States. So I was training in Vidal Sassoon technique, which everybody goes there. But this gentleman was doing something that I knew could be done because it was, why can't our hair be like their hair in terms of creating styles? I knew it had to be possible. And he was doing it with haircuts. So that's what I wanted. I got that from him. And then just studying styling from a lot of different other people. You you learn by doing.
So Dixon says hello, Sterfon. He's on here. Your cousin Darnell Bozeman is on here. So
My peoples.
they're all saying hello this morning. I gotta tell this one story. There's so many stories. You and I, we had a lot of adventures in Los Angeles, but we were working over there in I forget what the name of that town is where we were working. Anyway, so we go in there that morning, and it was, I think, when Donald Sutherland, so we had to be there really early. And you were upset because you said there was asbestos in the building, and you wasn't going to be working around any asbestos and so on and so forth. And so I said to you, well, let me just go on in first, and you can come in later and tell them you don't want to work in the asbestos. Oh, man, we had so much fun.
One thing about it, I was always about standing my ground, right or wrong. Sometimes I'd be wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would try.
Somebody's calling me.
I would try it, and sometimes they would let me know that's not gonna fly.
You going?
Was there any asbestos in there?
Well,
Yeah.
the thing about it, a lot of times places that we go in, a lot of locations, they may be older.
Old, yeah.
And there are those materials in there. And you know, according to OSHA, a lot of places we shouldn't be in.
Right.
But a lot of places they go in, you know, and you know, it's about the look. It may not always be about the safety. And
Yeah.
so one time I can recall in particular that really stood out in Louisiana after the hurricane, and I was doing a film with Kristen Stewart, and we were supposed to film inside of this location that had been in the flood. It was an old church. You could see the water line on the steeple.
Wow.
So which meant it had
Wow.
been submerged.
Right.
And everything inside. And they were supposed to have gone in, done some sort of treatment, and prepared it for us to work there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got there and come to find out that it had not been treated, and they were like, oh, it'll be fine. And that particular day, her mother, Kristen Stewart's mother, was on set, and she said that she's not going in there, and none of the crew is going in there. And I was excited for that, you know,
Right.
because not only was she standing up for her daughter, who was a star, she
Mhm.
stood up for the crew, you know, because about everybody's health. It wasn't just
Right.
her, you know, so that was one instance.
Well, I mean, and you're absolutely right. You know, they're basically concerned with the look, and
Mhm.
the look and the time. How much
Yeah.
time do we have to get this done? What's been allocated in terms of the money, and so on and so forth. So you're absolutely right. But you know, we just laugh about certain things. It was a lot of fun. Do you remember Sheila? You remember Sheila who did costumes on In the Heat of the Night? Sheila was from England, I think.
Yeah.
She was. I'll have to tell you some Sheila stories. That was that was a different thing.
Yeah, The Heat of the Night was a story within itself. That was a production within a production.
It was.
But it was great. It was a wonderful time, you know. You know, it just was good times.
It was. It was. I sent you a picture the other day. Somebody sent me of my character in the courtroom, and the reason I thought about Sheila was because she always dressed me. She always would dress me up however she wanted to dress me. So it was funny. Anybody got any more questions? Cody, did you got anything you want to say that we didn't ask you? Anything else?
No, I just want to say that, hey, if you're looking for something here in Montgomery, Alabama, come on down. We are located at 2000 Mulberry Street. We've got all that you need as far as women clothing is concerned. You can shop us online at www.chikodisworld.com and also on Etsy.com. And also, I also host a bi-weekly Facebook showcase, a live showcase where they can join in and just shop with me online.
Okay, well, that's great. That sounds good. Anything else from anybody?
Well,
I'm going to leave. I'm sorry.
I was going to say they can actually make it a destination because there's a lot of major history here in the city to see.
Yes.
We have EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative, the Legacy Museum. There's so much stuff to see here. That's the other thing. It's so much history that you can come make a day of shopping and touring, and it'll be well worth your while.
I agree. Okay, and Sterfon, I'm going to leave with a quote from Sterfon. He says, whatever you do, do it with all your heart. And I agree. So I appreciate you guys coming on with us this morning. It's always fun. And so thank you very much. And you actually brought a lot of people with you, Darnell and Choo Choo and Yolanda and Lisa and
My people, we love our family. Y'all are family to us. So that's why we just really enjoy this. It's all about the family.
Thank
There
you for
you
having
go.
us. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Barbara, you got a closing comment?
I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to be coming to visit Chikodi's World. I'm going to check you out.
Michael, you got a closing comment?
I just want to say thank you to both of you. And I think it's amazing what you're doing as far as bringing Africa to Montgomery, Alabama. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Come on down. Sweet home, Alabama.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. And I tell you, I will say the shop is located in a really, really nice area of Montgomery, right there on Mulberry. It's easy to find, and they're in the middle of other kind of business, similar type businesses, I guess. So it's well worth the time and effort. So
Very good.
Thank you.
okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Is taken from Jesse Jackson's speech. Of course, Jesse Jackson passed last week. But he gave this speech on July 17th at the 1984 Democratic Convention in his bid to become president of the United States. The speech was 44 minutes and it was nothing short of brilliant. If you get a chance to hear this speech, you should. An excerpt, Jesse said, America is not like a blanket. It is more like a quilt with many patches, different colors held together by a common thread. It is not one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same size. He said, sometimes we forget that we're a quilt of many patches and different colors, but history will always remind us. So that's our show for today. We want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Thank our G-List guests. Thank our sponsor. Thanks again to the TWT team, Barbara, Sean, Emily, Michael, and Joyce. And as always, a special thanks to the audience. And that's it for this March the 3rd in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. You got an extra smile, give it to somebody. Just might make their day. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Blessings. Peace.